So, I just got back from Mockingjay. Where to start? Just general overview. I generally liked this movie. I rather enjoyed it. I think it stayed true to the book, at least the first half, obviously. It was a great movie. I guess for a fan, it was enough. It was very well done. Since it's the same director, the cinematography and the way they did the scenes was very similar to Catching Fire, which I really enjoyed. Before I went to watch the movie, obviously critics' reviews were already coming out at a very steady pace, and generally people didn't like it, and that obviously saddened me because I love the Hunger Games. But now I guess I can see where they're coming from. Now, for these people, the people who are just interested in the movies and they think it's an interesting story to follow and they're ready to pay to accompany these characters, unfortunately they didn't think it was enough. And although I like the movie, these people didn't. This kind of felt like a means to an end, and let me make myself understandable. Catching Fire was amazing. It was so good, nothing in the known English vocabulary can describe it. And then there's this one, which I'm kind of mixed on because it was very good, but it felt like the bridge between Catching Fire and the final one, and it's just there doing nothing except quenching our thirst for more Hunger Games. And I think it would have been unnecessary. I've never voiced this, but I have absolutely no problem with studios splitting the final book into two parts. And I know that they will open a lot of more possibilities in part 2, and just so much more is going to be going on. I feel like I'm just talking and talking. I'm not sure if I'm making myself clear, but I think I am. The thing in between Catching Fire and part 2, which I think is going to be better than this one, because this one's just there to satiate.
Is that a word? I hope that's a word.
Our hunger for more Hunger Games. I can personally say I enjoyed it because I am overly dedicated to this franchise. I love the Hunger Games with my heart and my soul and my body and everything. Since these people don't, I guess they didn't relate to this movie as much. I don't know. I just know people in general didn't enjoy it as much. I think it was better than the first Hunger Games because the first Hunger Games is so... something about it it's just off. Anyway, that was it for my general overview. I enjoyed it. I mean, what is stopping you from watching it? I recommend it. Like, go find out what happened after the infamous There Is No District 12. And yes, go watch it. And this next session will spoil whoever has not read the book. So if you have not read the book, goodbye. And it will contain minor spoilers for those who haven't watched the movie, so beware, I guess. Yeah. So, right off, the movie doesn't start the same. It starts a little before she visits District 12. I think that was a very cleverly done idea. It starts with her reciting my name is Katniss Everdeen, I'm 17 years old, I have survived the Hunger Games, I'm in District 13, there is no more District 12, my home is destroyed, blah blah blah. It starts right with that, and I love that. She's in her tube, the thing we know she likes to hide in when she completely ignores her schedule. And I really like that. Jennifer Lawrence's acting is exceptional as always, and I love the way Jennifer Lawrence did the District 12 scene. I think that was very powerful. We did have a clip for that, but we didn't feel as much. In the movie, it's obviously bigger what you feel. Effie, in the book, we only get to see her in the end because she's been captured by the Capitol. But in the movie, they decided to bring her to District 13, and I couldn't agree more. I think this was very smart to do this. I think she added a little bit of color, even though she has been stripped of it. She added a little bit what we know about Effie, and Effie is one of my favorite characters. The character development she goes through is so palpable, and I love her to death. There's a scene in the movie where she explains that she isn't completely comfortable with helping the rebels. Plutarch explains that the Capitol is evil. She's lived there all of her life. That is all she knows. But still she's a little uneasy because that is everything anyone has ever told her to do. Be like what the capital wants you to be. And so her breaking away from that, I think it was a little bit hard for her. You can come with me with the argument like she's a grown woman, she can think for herself, but in this society people are very oppressed, and I really like her for breaking away. The District 8 scene was very good, exactly like the book. District 13 was a little different than I imagined, even though I mentioned before that Suzanne Collins paints a very clear picture in our minds. I did not imagine it to be like a huge void and then branching out. I guess I just imagined levels, individual cut out, but I really like the way they did it. It's very original. One thing I loved and I was expecting to love was the hanging tree. I adore how they did it, and after she sings by herself, a whole chorus of rebels start singing it, and it's so emotional. You feel how much it means to them, and it was one of the best scenes of the movie. I absolutely loved it. One thing I really want to put in here is a small difference that will make a very big ripple, and that is split off into two things, very appropriate actually. And so one is they humanized Coin a lot. President Alma is very different from the book, and that is what I felt. I'm not sure if other people who read the book felt it, but they gave her more feelings and more emotions, and now it's supposed to make you like her. I don't like her, but I can see their angle. For people who haven't read the book, Alma is a nice character, and so I don't know how they're going to do in part 2, because things happen, she kills Coin, and I think what they're going to do is they're trying to make Coin nice, and then they're going to bomb us, because we already know that she's actually a serpent, a very evil character, in a way eviler than Snow himself, and then she kills her. That is one possibility. The other main difference I felt is Katniss didn't ask. One of her conditions wasn't kill Snow, and that is going to be very different. One of the main motive for them going through the capital, the motive for them going through every obstacle and making it to the presidential mansion, is her killing Snow. And if she doesn't have this motivation, then why are they going to the capital? Are they even going to the capital? And that, they are, because they've casted Tigress, but what exactly are they going there for if she doesn't want to kill Snow? I bet she does, but it's not expressed in the movie. The hardest part for me to watch was the dam part, which I kind of wanted to see because it is in the book, but that part is so violent and so grotesque and unnecessary that I had to take my eyes off the screen. It was just too much. Yeah, that part was really, it was hard. It was very similar to the part where they rebel and they go up the trees. A lot of people die, and it's very graphic. They really show people falling to the ground and getting shot, and I'm not a big fan of that, really. Also very hard for me to watch, just like in the trailers and TV spots, was Peeta being beat up. That was really hard. There was one part where Peeta was talking about the ceasefire, and it wasn't the first time, and so they were trying to interrupt the airing with her singing the hanging tree, and the moment that they alternate back to Peeta, Peeta is completely adrift. She's like, Katniss, are you there? You can already see the traces of hijacking. They've already used some of their stuff, and it's just so sad to see him that way. I mentioned before also that I really like the addition of Natalie Dormer as Cressida. I think she did an amazing job. Cressida isn't a very big important role in Mockingjay, but I think adding Natalie Dormer is just, it hypes you up. And so I really like her addition. Fun fact, I usually take a picture by the poster of the movie, and this time there was no poster, and I was really disappointed. All there was a huge printout of the Cressida Rebel poster, which is okay, but I decided not to take the picture. I should have, but I don't think it was enough for me to actually go there and stand there in front of everybody and take a picture. I guess for the last movie, I'm going to take 2 billion pictures. One other difference that I noted was how different from my imagination the stream where Katniss went with her father was. In my mind, the stream, it is a stream, and I don't even know why, but I imagined a big pond. Just imagine a lake, kind of like a very big pond of water where she just goes and there is no movement, there is no current, and that's just where she goes. And it's so different because I don't remember if it's described in the book, but it's in the middle of a valley, huge rocks, and the stream is just passing, and that's where she sings the hanging tree. And it was very different from my imagination. It wasn't better. I think it was kind of the same level because the way I imagined it, it was much more peaceful and quiet, actually. Also, Buttercup, so cute. I mean, we get 2 milliseconds of Buttercup and catching fire, and they changed him because he was black and white in the first movie. Mockingjay Part 1, it's still the cream, long-furred cat, and I just love him to bits. He's huge, and he's very furry, and he's just a bundle of fur, and I love him. Yeah. Prim is also a character with a lot of development. It's physical, but it's also psychological. You notice how much this girl has changed, and her death was so hard in the book. It was so... It wasn't an unnecessary death like Finnick, because Finnick really upset me, but it was a very sad one. One thing I loved also was Finnick and Annie, which I mentioned I really wanted to see. We also got 2 milliseconds of them, but they were so cute. I cannot wait to see the wedding. Please don't leave out the wedding, because that part, I hope that makes it into the screen, because it's just an amazing scene. Yes, I love Annie so much, as I've said before, and I don't even know the reason. That brings me to my conclusion. This movie was great. Generally, some flaws and not the best, but it was good and enjoyable. I cannot wait to see the next one. Like, just the thought that the next one is the last one. There is nothing else after that. Unless, like, 3 years later, they decide to do what they're doing with Twilight, you know, like little short stories. I mean, probably not gonna happen. So much was going on in my head yesterday that I forgot to mention the last scene. I had predicted that Mockingjay Part 1 would split off when Peeta strangled Katniss. You know, right at the moment where he grabs her neck, the movie would end, because that would just be the most amazing cliffhanger, to be honest. It did not end exactly there. It ended 2 minutes later, which is pretty close. I am proud of my prediction. But this last scene was so powerful. Seeing Peeta hijacked, in reading about it was super hard, but now watching it was shocking. That was, to me, a person who has read the book and a person who was waiting for this to happen. I can only imagine how shocked people were in those 10 seconds where Peeta is literally trying to kill Katniss. That people probably,
Whoa.
what is going on? That was probably very hard for them to watch, but for us, you know, people who have followed the series for quite a while now, it's so downgrading to see Peeta like that. That's everything I forgot to mention. Anyway, that's it, guys. I hope you stay tuned for more videos. Insurgent is coming up. I know it's still like 5 months away, but it passes in the blink of an eye. Bye! I talked a lot.